All right, interest. Now, there are positive interest and then there's negative interest. Positive interest is, I don't know how many of you out there have a savings account right now with your name on it. Your parents or someone started a savings account for you and you have money in the bank. I don't know if that's anyone out there. But some people do. Some kids have savings account and they can't touch the money until they're an adult. Maybe they can use it for college or buying a car. Yeah, so some of you do have these accounts. What is happening is because you have this money in the bank, you're not touching it. Your parents just deposit like birthday money or whatnot in there. It's earning interest. So like the bank gives you free money. It's pretty cool. On the opposite, we have negative interest rate when you have a credit card and you use your credit card to go shopping and you don't pay all of it back at the end of the month, you get charged interest, which means you get to pay more than what you borrowed, which that means you have to pay extra. Who wants to pay extra money, right?
I know what that is.
Good. So positive interest and there's negative interest. Today we're going to find out how do we determine interest? How do we calculate interest? All right. So to find interest, you need the formula interest equals P times R times T. So it looks very different than all our other ones that we've done. So this is step one. Step one is to find interest, to determine how much interest you're going to pay. In order to determine how much interest you're going to pay, you're going to take the principal. In this case, it's not Mr. Muniz. It's the money. How much money did you borrow? How much money is in your savings account? Times the rate. The R stands for rate, which means percent. We couldn't call it percent because we were already using the word principal that starts with a P. So we couldn't go P times P. We got to make sure we use different words. So it's a rate, but what does that really mean? It's just your percent. And then the T, which is something new, is time in years. How long do you have the money in your savings account? 18 years? How long does it take you to pay back your credit card? So that's your time. So interest is determined by taking your principal times your rate times your time. So a little bit different than what we've been doing, but still somewhat similar. Not 100% like, oh my God, what is this? All right. Your second step, step number 2, I lost one of my notebooks. Oh, it's right here. Step number 2 is to take your principal and add your interest, and this will give you your total in your savings account, total how much you owe in total. So like if you borrow $1,000, you're going to pay back the $1,000 plus interest. Okay. If I charge $500 on my credit card and I don't pay it back, next month I owe them $550. And you're just like, wait, what? I just charged $500. Where's the extra? Why are you charging me an extra $50? Why? Oh, because we added interest. So it's very important that we pay our credit card bills 100% at the end of the month. The only thing you remember from 7th grade when you're an adult, that's okay with me. Pay your credit card bills at the end of the month. Don't charge more than what you can pay.
All right. What's next to the principal one?
Rate. This one? The one in red?
No, the one next to rate.
Time?
Yeah.
Years? Time and years?
Wait, right. I have a question.
Yes, Dominic.
What's interest for? Like, what does it do? Or, like, why are they just charging you extra money? Like, what's it for? Where does that money go to? Or, like, why do you have to spend more money than what you already spent
Well, because it's like a fee for borrowing the money. So like if I go to Target and spend $200 at Target, which I can easily do because Target is like the best thing in the world. You can easily spend $200 there. I just charge it on my credit card. At the end of the month, my credit card goes like, "Hey, you know those $200 I let you borrow? Yeah, pay us back." You're like, "Oh yeah, okay." If you paid at the end of the month, you only get charged $200. The amount that you bought, $200. Cool. Here's $200. Credit card. We're good. Awesome. But the credit cards, this is how they make their money. This is how they can pay their employees. They'll go, "Okay, you owe us $200 because you went to Target. Okay, it's cool. You know what? Just pay us $20. Just pay us $20. Pay us later the other $180." And you're like, "Cool, you're letting me borrow the money? I only have to pay you $20? Okay, cool. Here's $20." And the next month you have a bill that's $190. And you're like, "Wait, I paid you $20. Why are you charging me $10? It's like a fee. Like, because you still owe the money, you're going to charge them. Have you ever let someone, like a little brother, sister, aunt, uncle, cousin, neighbor, like, "Hey, let me borrow $1. Okay, cool. But you got to pay me back $2. You're like, "What?" "Yeah. You want $1? Cool. But you got to pay me back $2. And and you're like, "Oh my God, I really need $1 to go buy the ice cream." You're like, "Fine, fine, fine. Give me your $1. And then you turn around and you're like, "Wow, I got to pay you $2? Man." But what they just did, um,
Didn't they get profit off you?
what's called,
They blackmailed you.
no, it's an interest. Profit is when you sell something, you sell it for more, that's profit. Similar to interest, but interest is like it's a fee for letting you borrow like cash. Usually if you let them borrow cash money, it's interest. You raise the amount that you have to pay back. If I let you borrow $100, but next month you got to pay me back 150, I just charged you $50, $50 in interest. Okay. Now, so when you guys grow up, you're most likely going to take out a loan for if you're going to buy a brand new car, you're going to take out a loan for a car, and if you want to buy a house, you're probably going to take out a loan for a house. Those are the two major loans that most people get, are a house and a car loan. Credit cards, not everybody. A lot of people get credit cards, and that's the number one place where you get charged interest if you don't pay it. And the interest rates on credit cards can be above 15, 20, 25%. They're outrageous, the amount of interest that they charge you. But people are like, "I don't see it. I don't know. What? Who? What?" Until their bill comes in the next month. So pay your bills. Pay your credit cards. Please. Don't let them take your hard-earned money. Okay. Let's say I borrow $25,000 from the bank to buy my super cool car. Okay? I don't have $25,000 cash. So I'm going to borrow the money from the bank. And the bank goes like, "Yeah, sure. Here, Ms. Lamelli. Here's a check for $25,000. Aw, you guys are so nice to me. But they're going to charge you an interest. The interest rate is 3%. So they'll ask you two questions, or I'll ask you two questions. How much interest will I pay after 5 years? And then the second question that they ask you is, how much will I pay in total? Okay, you're only going to copy down 2 word problems today. We'll do 3 problems together. 2 of them will be in the form of a long word problem, but you're only doing 2. And then the third one, I'll cut out the word problem and just give you the numbers. But for the first 2, you're going to copy down all of the word problems, okay? That way you can go back, refer to your notes, and understand, like, okay, how did she get these numbers? Where did these numbers come from? Oh, yeah, that's right.
So do you have group work?
Eventually. Okay, so I borrowed $25,000 to buy my super cool car. The interest rate is 3%. How much interest will I pay after 5 years? How much will I pay in total? Now, in 7th grade, I just teach you what is called simple interest. That means you make no payments until the end, which isn't really how the real world works. But in 7th grade, we do simple interest. In high school, you will learn something called compound interest, and that takes into account you making monthly payments. This is making no payments, which is, if you make no payments, they take away the car. So, all right, step number 1. You're going to find interest equals PRT. So in your word problem, you got to find the principal, which is the money.
25,000.
Yep. Then we're going to find the rate, which is our percent.
3%.
And then our time in years. Okay? So we're going to write that down. 25,000 times 3%, but it has to be written as a decimal, so 0.03. Do not forget that extra 0 times the time, which is 5. Okay, number 1 mistake we saw today in the first and second period is that right there. Kids are forgetting to put that 0.03, and then they get the wrong answer. Everything else is wrong because you forgot that. All right, so type this out into your calculator. It's important that you know what numbers type into your calculator. Do it. Even though I'm going to do it, I need you to literally type this out to see if you typed it out correctly. Yes, some of you will not type it out correctly. I know. So 25,000 times 0.03 times 5. So this answer, my interest is equal to $3,750. Now, that's how much interest I will pay. $3,750. Now, is that how much I will pay in total? No. To find the total,
you have to add 25,000 plus 3,750.
Yep. You add what you borrowed, which is 25,000, plus $3,750. So we're gonna add these two because I borrowed 25,000. Guess what? I have to pay those $25,000 back, plus interest. So this is my total. So I borrowed $25,000. They're going to charge me $3,750. So at the end, I end up paying $28,750 in total. And this is how it works in the real world when you have to borrow money. 3% is actually a really good rate. They're usually a little bit higher. So it's important when you guys grow up and you start borrowing money that you see what your percent is. And if this percent is extremely high, you're going to end up paying a lot of interest. A lot of interest. All right. We'll do the second problem of the day of copying down the whole.
So this is the last problem before we do our other work?
No. This is the last word problem you're going to copy down. Let's do a positive interest. I have $1,600 in my savings account that earns 4% interest. How much interest will I earn
2 years?
after 18 years?
Jeez, that's a lot.
Hey, that's when you become an adult. Second question, what would be my total? So let's say your parents opened a savings account when you were first born. They put in $1,600 and that's it. They don't touch it for 18 years. On your 18th birthday, when you become an adult, you go to the bank and you can do whatever you want with the money that's in there. Now, because you left it alone, you now don't just have $1,600, you have interest in there. You've increased the amount. It's like the bank saying, hey, thank you for leaving your money in here. Here's some free money. You're like, yay, cool.
It depends on the rate. It depends how much interest you get.
Exactly.
Like sometimes it can be like really small.
Yep. Oh yeah, 4% is a lot. 4%, it's a lot. Usually savings account, depending, might earn you less than 1%. It's sad, but it's free money. If it's 10 cents, it's 10 cents. No one else is giving you 10 cents. So $1,600 is your principal.
I mean, the street is. I find dimes on the ground.
That's true. That's true. That's true. 4% is your rate, and 18 years is your time. I mean, sometimes you do earn 10%, 10 cents. You're just like, wow, 10 cents. I picked up a quarter the other week, so therefore that's more than my bank. All right. So remember that step 1 is interest is equal to P times R times T. So interest, the P is 1,600 times the rate is 4%. Oh, times 18 years. Now 4%, remember it's 0.04. 0.04. All right, so grab those calculators, your phone, your iPad, whatever, doesn't matter. Type in 1,600 times 0.04, 0.04 times 18. And the answer you get on your calculator is called your interest. Okay, so 1,152 is called your interest. Okay, now step number 2, we're gonna find our total. Okay, to find your total, you take your principal, which is $1,600 plus, what did you get for your first answer? Oh, I got 1,152. So you add those to get your total. So when I turn 18 and I go to the bank, I'm not just going to have $1,600 in there. I'm going to have $2,752 because of interest. Interest allows me to have more money in the bank. So that this is a positive form of interest when you earn basically free money. It's pretty cool. If you don't have a bank account or you don't have a savings account, that's fine. When you're older and you start working, make sure you start a savings account. It's never too late, to earn free money until you're taxed on it, and then it's not. Then you give it all back. Anyways, we're good? Okay, so again, there's 2 steps, PRT, and then you add at the end. All right, we're gonna do one more, but this one, we're gonna skip the word problem itself. So let's say you wanna borrow some money from your parents to buy a gaming system or something, video game. I don't know. So you're gonna borrow $600, but your parents are like, I want to charge you 15%. And it's going to take you, it's going to take you 3 years to pay it back because you have to go through 3 birthdays, 3 Christmas, 3 Lunar New Year's, wherever you get money. It's going to take you 3 years to collect $600 plus interest. Okay. So the $600 is your principal, the 15% is your rate, and the time is 3 years, right? In order to find your interest, you're literally going to multiply these 3 numbers. But remember, the 15% must be written as 0.15. 0.15. So let's type this into our calculator. 600 times 0.15 times 3. Whatever your answer is there, that's what you have for your interest. So interest is equal to $270. So that's the extra money you get to pay because you borrowed money. Now to find your total, so this is like your first step, and this is your second step. To do the second step, you take how much you borrowed and you add it to $270. So we're going to add this up, 870. This is the total that you have to pay. Because when you borrow money, you still have to pay back what you borrowed. You don't just pay back the interest, you also pay back what you borrowed. So if you borrowed $600, you're going to have to pay back $600 plus what you borrowed. Okay? So 600 plus your interest of $270. So at the end of the day, you end up paying $870. Yeah, this is true. This is how credit cards work. How all credit cards work. Yep. Any questions? I mean, credit cards are cool. They let you borrow money, but just make sure you pay back all the money at the end. No bueno.